on Tropical Storm Elsa, which has just made landfall on the Cuban coast and is going to eventually move over the Cuba and into Florida, where it will likely make landfall as a tropical storm, at the utmost a minimal hurricane if conditions go right for this storm. Current watches and warnings: tropical storm warnings for Florida and Cuba, while there is only tropical storm watches out for Florida at the moment. No hurricane warnings or watches anymore. There was a hurricane watch for Cuba, but as that made landfall, that watch was taken away as it was not a hurricane at landfall. Satellite imagery and current stats: it is at 60 miles per hour or 50 knots in winds with a pressure of 1,007 millibars, movement northwest at 14 miles per hour or 12 knots. That seems to be the movement speed that it has had for a long time now, and you can kind of see where it made landfall. Right in here is kind of where it made that landfall at this in Cuba. It might make a second landfall right here. It would technically be a second landfall, but it would basically stay the same impacts before kind of moving up here. You can see this current track and intensity forecast. I have it getting back up to 70 miles per hour before making landfall in the Big Bend, likely now for Florida, although it could be anywhere up the western coast of Florida. From at least at this current moment in time, things do change. And then I expect it to weaken before going off the east coast again, potentially slightly re-strengthening before eventually turning post-tropical again. Current wind radius, not very big. You can see it there in that bluish green. And you can see that it is just made landfall in Cuba. And the wind field is small, but it could get bigger as it goes on. Current sea surface temperatures are going to be pretty favorable for the storm, but not the most favorable that it could be from this point on. It was in that red area briefly, but it is not anymore. Wind shear going to be favorable for the majority of the storm's life from now on, from this point on, until it's roundabout making landfall in Florida. The wind shear will increase for the storm and will not be as favorable. Although at that point it would already be making landfall and would not make too much of a difference. Rainfall not going to be too high, but is still a threat, anywhere from maybe 12 inches at this point. Current wind likelihoods, not very likely that it will get over 75 miles an hour. Probably actually going to stay maybe 60, 65 as it moves into Florida, but I'm going with 70 on the slightly higher side for the storm. Current surge, probably 4 to 6 feet for this one is the most likely outcome at this current moment in time. Could be a little bit lower, maybe 3 feet, could be a little bit higher, maybe 7 feet. That is really pushing it though. And for the rainfall, like I said, maybe up to 12 inches is likely. 15 maybe in very isolated areas, although I'm not seeing that as a very likely possibility at this moment. Potential damage index stage 3 for Florida, just 3s all the way across the board. 65 to 75 mile per hour winds, a surge of 4 to 5 feet, and rainfall of 10 to 12 inches is the current stages that I'm giving it. And just those areas that are most likely to receive that, you can see that green area in the middle of Florida. That is likely the worst impact area, but anywhere in those blues could receive impacts from this storm. Do include Cuba. I did not put Cuba as it's about to move over Cuba, and Cuba will not feel impacts for much longer after this storm moves over. So Cuba is probably receiving a green area right now, though, just like that Big Bend area of Florida is probably going to. Thank you guys for watching Update 6 on Tropical Storm Elsa. If you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more content like this.